Hello guys, welcome to a new video, and in this video we are going to go over the tools that I like to use whenever I'm going to start with the privilege escalation. And privilege escalation is or this is basically local privilege escalation, not domain privilege escalation. Domain privilege escalation we are going to talk about later, but we first need to establish our local privilege escalation before we can do domain privilege escalation. On my opinion, I always like to get local privilege escalation, right? So local privilege escalation, um, I use three tools, which is JAWS, WinPEAS, and PowerUp. Um, JAWS it stands for just another enumeration script. And JAWS is basically it's a PowerShell script designed to help the penetration tester to basically quickly identify potential privilege escalation vectors on any Windows system. And it looks at a lot of settings for you or features. One is the network information, firewall information, the processes that are running, the mapped drives that you could have, potentially interesting files that defines unquoted service paths, recent documents that were created. It checks for the register key of the always install elevated, which is a quick win. Store credentials, install applications that the system has, schedule task, and some other potential vulnerable services as well. And then there's another one which is called WinPEAS. WinPEAS basically takes a look at the same thing that JAWS does, but just is PowerShell base, and WinPEAS is just a bat file, or you can even download the executable. If you go to this GitHub repository, you can go ahead and either download the executable or the bat file. The bat file, as I find it that it works 100% of the time. The executable does not work 100% of the time for some reason. I always get some weird error. Right, it's like a 50-50 chance. And then I have PowerUp, and PowerUp does not take a look at all those features as JAWS and WinPEAS. And PowerUp basically just takes a look at the misconfigurations that the system has, right? Like registry checks, unquoted path, always install elevated, and some DLL hijacking opportunities as well. So I always like to run PowerUp first to just take a look at what's going on in the system, what I can do real quick to get a quick win. And if I don't find anything with PowerUp, then I run JAWS. If I don't find anything with JAWS, then I run WinPEAS. If I don't find anything with WinPEAS, then I just run PowerUp again, then JAWS, and then WinPEAS until I get a admin, right? Until I get local admin or something better than what I currently have. And with like I said, I always start with PowerUp, then JAWS, and then WinPEAS. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you how to run these tools. So let's go ahead and move this over here. So I have my Windows device over here. I'm going to open PowerShell. You can see it is nice and big font. And I am going to go into my C drive. So we are going to change directory. We are going to go to AD, and in here, if I do a dir, you can see that I have PowerUp, and I'm going to provide you guys with a zip files where you can download all the scripts that I'm going to be using in these videos, right? So we have PowerUp. So the first thing that I like to do whenever I start or I'm going to start is that I want to bypass the PowerShell execution policy. And the way that you could do that is by doing a PowerShell EP, no, not AP, EP bypass. And I forgot an L. Here we go. My first error. There we go. PowerShell EP bypass. Okay. And then after that, what I want to do is I want to also bypass the AMSI, which stands for anti-malware scan interface. And this anti-malware scan interface protects against the usage of some modern tools like PowerUp, PowerView, JAWS, etc. So you always want to bypass this anti-malware scanning interface. And the way that you do that is by going to just copy and paste it, and I'm going to leave it in the description where you can download all the commands that I'm going to be running. There we go. So we bypass that. After that, what we want to do is we want to do an import module, and I'm going to import PowerUp, if I know how to spell. There we go. So now we can do an invoke all checks, and this invoke all checks, what it's going to do is that it's going to be looking for DLL hijacking opportunities, registry checks, on quarter path, and always install elevated. And as you can see, it looks like it has found some good stuff. Permission write add, okay, modify schedule task. See, it looks like it found some task that we can do. What else do we have in here? Modify path. So as you can see right now, it found something that, you know, that we could take a look and see if we can so you can see that it found some tasks that we are running in here, and we are going to go ahead and take a look at that later on. So it just went and go ahead and took a look at the task, and also went and took a look at some DLL hijacking, and this is everything that it found. So also we have JAWS, and JAWS takes a little bit longer, but the way that you could either run JAWS from either PowerShell, or you can even do it from the command line. I'm going to show you how you can do it from the command line if for some reason you cannot, it doesn't let you open PowerShell. We are going to just open the command. We are going to go into CD or change directory. We are going to go to the C drive. Let's go ahead and make this, it doesn't let me clear. Okay, cool. So what we are going to do in here is that we are going to run, this is what's going to happen. So we are going to basically open PowerShell. We are going to tell it to do an execution policy bypass, and we are telling it to run this file. And then I want you to, everything that you find when you run JAWS, I want you to save it to this file right here, JAWS and that text. Let's see if that works. And there we go. And as you can see right now, it is gathering information. It takes a little bit to gather all the information, but that's how you run JAWS. And here you can see that it's gathering user information, it's gathering processes, services, and schedule tasks, gathering install software, gathering file system information. So it's going to do all of that, and it's going to be saved. And if I go to my C drive AD, it is going to be saved. Where is it? Right here, JAWS enum. That's where it's going to be saved. And then the other one is WinPEAS. You can either run WinPEAS, the batch file over here that we have, the batch file, Windows batch file, or you can run the WinPEAS executable. I like to run the WinPEAS batch file. Let's see if this is done. This is not done yet. It's still looking for simple privilege escalation method. Okay, or you can just run WinPEAS. So let's go ahead and just run WinPEAS. You can see looks a little bit cool. By Carlos PowerUp, I think that's how you say that. You know, it looks for basics. It's going to look for basically the same information that JAWS is going to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and pause the video. Okay, so we are back. You can see that JAWS is done enumerating. So let's go ahead and open that file that it was created, and you can see all the information that it gathered. You can see the users. We have an administrator user, a group administrators. Guest is part of the guests. You can see the private IP addresses. You can see all the ARP interfaces, which means that we have communicated with this and this one. So this is really interesting. It found this one, and this is my AD. So it is communicating with AD. 96. I think 96 as my computer's IP address, if I'm not confusing. And then we have some active connections. You can see TCP, UDP, all that cool information. Host file content. You can see what I have in my host files. You can also see the processes that are running, right? CMD, blah blah blah, that good stuff. What else do we have in here? Schedule task. You can see that right here. By taking a look at that test, you can see that it is running as an admin, and it is running some sort of test that we're going to take a look at that later on. So you can see how to abuse that, and you know, a lot of tasks, because by default Windows has a bunch of tasks. Then we have the services. You can see all the services that we have in here, and we are going to take a look at some abuse that we can do with some of these services. Here are some install programs. You can see that we have Python installed in here. You can see the hot fixes that we have installed. You can see the what it is in the program folders, what is in the program files, 86. You can see all the things that I have access to modify, and you know, all that good stuff, that we can use. And also we can go ahead and take a look at JAWS and see what JAWS is doing. Not JAWS, we were done with JAWS. Let's see what my other guy is doing. It's still gathering information. So you know, it is going to start spitting out a bunch of information. There you go. And that's just, you know, WinPEAS basically takes a look at the same information. You can see the hot fixes. We found that on JAWS. So basically takes a look at the same information as JAWS. So this is it for this video. I will see you in the next one.